Actually, before you press start. Okay.
I have been most unkind. I have paid you no mind. I have been reckless and obscene, with a devil in my eye, and that ain't something I wanna be remembered by. There was hardly a sign. One day I just resigned. And if you're looking for a name,
I met this man, Michael Lockwood, through Bird Streets was playing a few shows in Los Angeles, and we needed a guitarist, and David Jenkins.
That's right.
I just put a little thing on Facebook like, hey, LA people, you know anyone? And he hooked it up, and it was like, I didn't immediately connect the name, but then I did a little Google, and I was like, oh, he's that guy.
True, all of this. It's true. Dave Jenkins did like one of those little introduction linky hashtaggy taggy things, right? Yeah.
Just tagged our name.
And I did not know about Bird Streets, which I was shocked because it was so up my alley musically, and you and Jason Faulkner are friends, and I've been friends with Jason since a long time ago. And so yeah, I heard the record, and we reached out to each other via that and talked, and then we had a fun show. I think we did a little rehearsal too, right?
As you do.
Yeah. And then I think you reached out and we talked about maybe doing a song together or something, right?
Yeah, I think it was a little while after that, but one of the next times I was back here in LA for a while, I was like, why don't we just try some things?
Yeah.
I have been most unkind. Driving handcuffed and blind. Could have steered out of the crash if we had only tried. Now we're watching it burn and you're wondering why.
Unkind was written somewhat immediately in the breakup of my marriage. A lot of the songs on this record are dealing with that. That one to me was the sort of heart of all of it. The pandemic happened. So in the meantime...
That's right, pandemic happened right
after we started working together.
That's
and
right.
I was like, well, we'll get there eventually.
That's right.
And we didn't do anything else until Unkind, which is a little over a year later, because the first 9 months of the pandemic, like most people, I was just staring into space. But then, January last year rolled around and I got the bug to like, all right, I got to get used to working remotely because that's the new normal, right? And I reached out to you, and I think I sent you a demo from New York, and then you made a couple arrangement decisions and like sent me the edits of that, and then this is gonna look great. This is gonna be really good for everyone watching. Like,
and we have 4 other songs that are done the same way, so all these stories are like this.
Really differing. At least you and I didn't record anything in the same room on this song. It turns out.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
literally
right.
nothing. It turns out it was all done in New York, my parts. So that's very strange. The other songs, at least there's some play.
Yeah.
And I think that, the learning curve though, like we figured out how to do it this way by doing this.
The strings were the last instruments to go on, perhaps.
Actually,
or maybe bass?
No, bass was the last thing on this song. Bass was the last, bass was the last thing. The strings went on at the same time as piano, so we had those pretty early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a different song.
It's hard to tell anymore.
Yeah. It's true, that's right. Aimee played bass after everyone.
It was the last thing, I'm glad we did it that way, because her part's incredible.
It is, but we all ended up bouncing off each other based on the person that was before you.
Right. It's like a stacking thing versus a. It's a little less collaborative, but almost more in a way,
Yeah.
Because you're really cueing in on specific things.
I tend to visualize while I'm listening to stuff, and I had the pleasure of doing it every time somebody put a new part on, I'm working on the song, I'm listening to it. So I got to move stuff and change stuff and try things, and this was the first remote thing that I'd done. So it really changed the way that I added parts in too. Sometimes I purposely waited. I'm like, well, I'll wait till that's on, and then I'll wait till that. So it was an interesting process.
To myself that there was no choice. It's the only way I know to make any sense of it. But hey, the silver lining is you don't have to hear my voice.
We ended up having Michael Brauer mix it, who's out in New York, and he's done all kinds of great stuff. And in fact, he mixed the record that I produced with Aimee Mann, the Lost in Space record.
Right.
But he's worked with Coldplay and
Mayer,
John Mayer,
a bunch of people, yeah.
just a ton of people.
Some like up and coming artists.
But he certainly, I think he really, this song works for him. Like the Bird Streets thing works for him, and he brought a lot of life and air to something that was recorded all over the United States.
In a bunch of closets, basically, yeah.
And now there's Bird Streets, this is like, you have 7 different Bird Streets, and this is yet another different Bird Streets band, right?
Sorta, yeah. It's sort of a different band on every song in a lot of these days. Like, I made the first record just with Jason Faulkner. There was a couple other people on it, but it was just 2 of us in the room kicking stuff around. So this was a whole new way of doing things compared to that, and just handing over the reins to different producers and just being able to concentrate on the songwriting part and the singing part. And that's kind of how we did most of the record.
So much bitterness and shame I rained on our parade. I would take it all back if I could make it right. 'Cause it feels every day like my best friend has died. And that ain't something I wanna be remembered by. That ain't something I wanna be.
The name Sparkle Plenty comes from
So my manager, Jeff Keller, who's helping us quite a lot these days with everything, he reached out to me and wrote me a little story about how he met me years ago, and had seen me play a lot with I was in a band, Lines and Ghosts, in the 80s. And Jeff had come to some shows, and at some point he and I had met. He was friends with my manager at the time, and he had me sign a record. And don't ask me why, I wrote Sparkle Plenty and then signed my name. We both sort of decided that it would be great to work together, and the first thing he brought to me like 2 weeks into working with me was, so I'm gonna get you your own label, and we're gonna do it through Deco. And he starts explaining all this to me, and in our conversations we discussed doing a single every other month or every month, and I had played him some of the stuff that we had worked on together. And it turns out, John, that you're our first customer of the day. You will be the first single of Sparkle Plenty.
That ain't something I